Hello, 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 it's Angel here. It's been so long. Where have you been? Where have I been? What's been going on? Welcome back to my channel. Have you been here before? Welcome, welcome. If you're new, welcome to this space. I am a beginner witch since 2020, and I'm basically sharing my journey in this space. So it's a bit like a video grimoire, I'm going to say. Today we're doing a bit of a catch up. I haven't been here for a wee while. I've been, up to some stuff, and time just sometimes doesn't stretch to all the things we want to do, does it? So I thought we'd have a bit of a chinwag, a bit of a casual chat. I've got my almost drunk cup of coffee. Why don't grab yourself a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, put me on in the background if you're doing something, monotonous. And let's have a good old chinwag, and let's get into the things that have been lighting me up, feeding my soul, filling my cup, and that have been, right up my alley. Let's get this done. Okay, so I thought we'd start with a deskie. You've heard of a selfie, right? And you've heard of a shelfie. Well, this is like the same thing, but, like of my desk. We're going rogue with the camera work, so no points for shoddy, jiggly camera work here, unfortunately. But I just thought I'd give you an insight into what I'm looking at. So this is my desk area. This is where I do all my readings, and I basically changed it out at the beginning of October. I'm sure, like quite a lot of people, I suddenly just started feeling really drawn to like darker colours, and like I felt my darker, moody side coming out. Now, I'm showing you the dolls here. I think I've spoken about my thrifted rainbow high dolls in a previous video. It's become like a new passion, and I started originally collecting thrifted rainbow high, and then I suddenly started feeling drawn to the shadow high range as well. So these ladies are on my desk, kind of bringing forward my moody gothic side for this season, hence the reason they're there. This little plate, I've got some crystals which are almost like my inventory. There's a key there as well. I spoke about these in my loot drop video, which was a VR to Dawn Michelle. And so this is almost like an inventory for my rabbit holes that I've been falling down with my Wonderland practice. I'm going to speak more about that in a wee while. And we've got some labradorite, which I'm feeling really drawn to this season. We've got some golden healers, which kind of go without saying. Then we have some silver obsidian, and I purchased this stone. It totally reminds me of a portal. I found the stone beside it, which also reminded me of a portal. That's why that's sitting there, because I'm doing portal work at the moment. We've got some chess pieces, which I'm feeling really resonating with me at the moment. More about that in a wee while. I've got some clear crystal. What else have I got here? I pulled out some leaves. Well, no, I didn't pull them out. I went and collected them from the woods beside me. I've got my shadow work crystals there. There's some jet, there's some onyx, there's some obsidian, there's some tourmaline. A thrifted, I actually think it's an aquarium decoration, but I use it for Halloween. We've got some meadow sweet, which I foraged in the summer, which is sitting there for self-love. We've got some, what's that called? Red jasper, I think it's called. Here's my super duper representation of my animal ally. We've got some artwork here, which is really important to me right at the minute. That's why that's sitting there. More about that in a wee while. This is a picture of me when I was a little baby. No, I wasn't a baby. I was a toddler, and I had a dream about this chair at the beginning of October. I've been having some freaky beaky dreams, and I don't remember this chair. And then I had a dream about it at my nana's house. And then I was looking through some photos today for a video that I'm going to be doing, which is the 13 Nights of Samhain, I think it's called. And this is the chair that I had the dream about. And I saw it in the photo album. And I was like, that's it, that's the chair. And I don't actually remember it physically, but that was the chair that I saw in my dream. Anyway, that's a long explanation and you don't want to hear about that. So let's move along. Yeah, so anyway, so I thought I'd give you a bit of an insight into my area right at the moment. Yeah, that was 4 minutes in. Gordon Bennett, I need to stop chatting. Let's let's get the show on the road and let's talk about the decks that have led me to create some art witchery. Yeah, let's start there. So these two decks were decks that appeared in my practice in September. We've got the Woman Tarot and we've got the Seasons of the Witch Mabon Oracle. So the Woman Tarot is a French deck and it's a deck that I had on pre-order. I saw it on Amazon, loved the images, pre-ordered it. And it arrived at the beginning of September. And these two together, they worked so well. They were very, very gentle decks, which I felt I needed in September. I decided to pair back in September. And these were my main contenders that saw the time on my desk, basically. I use these decks for Dawn Michelle's Weaver's Practice. I am a fellow of the Fellowship of the Weaver's Practice. Does that make sense? I don't think so. I'm not sure. But I think you know what I'm talking about. And so in September, these were pretty much the main decks that I actually used. If you've seen any of my videos previously, you'll know that I tend to use a lot of decks. So this was a bit of a deviation from my usual practice. Sorry, that was my kitty boy annoying my kitty girl. I was on a flow. My flow has been, what's the word? Interrupted. Where was I? Oh, yes. So October saw me deviating from my usual practice of like deciding which decks are going to fit into which practice. And instead, I kind of just pulled out all the decks that kind of spoke to me. And they are sitting in the chaos, which is now my tarot card, which I'm going to show you in a wee while. Yeah, so these decks are still out for October. And unlike what I usually do, where I kind of decide which deck's going to work for which practice, I've just been kind of going with the flow. And when I decide to do a tarot spread or a tarot pull, I just look at my card and I think, what's calling to me right now? And I pull that deck out and I read with it, basically. And if there is a deck that is calling to me, which is still sitting on my tarot shelf, then I do go and pull that out as well, because I'm not strict with myself where it concerns my practice. My intuition wins over what I feel I should be using. So I've been really, really enjoying these two. I haven't been going to the guidebook for this one so much. I find this really, it just speaks to me without me needing to go to the guidebook. And I think, if you haven't seen, you probably have this deck, the Season of the Witch, Mabon Oracle. I think this is actually, I would say, one of my favourites in this collection of decks. Did I show you the backs? I didn't, and it's only because this card is back to front that reminded me to show you. They are glossy cardstock, but I love the cardstock. I think it's huge. Anyway, that led me on to saying, sorry, look at these two, gorgeous. I started showing you these decks because these were decks that led me to some art witchery. And I'm going to show you this card. I'm going to pop this one out of the way and show you the Tower card. Now, the Tower card is my favourite card in the tarot. I absolutely adore it. I think it's scary, but, we do need to step out of our comfort zones. Oh, I know I do anyway. And this depiction specifically made me think of the word mausoleum, made me think of mausoleums. And I kept pulling this card very, very regularly. And even in other decks, the Tower card kept showing up for me. And mausoleum, every time that card turned up, that word mausoleum kept like bouncing around in my mind. So I did some research on the mausoleum, and the mausoleum is like a tomb where people are buried. And there's another word which I can't think of right now, which is, I'm going to pop on the screen here, which means a structure that's built to kind of honour or commemorate people that have died. But mausoleum really stuck with me. So I decided to do some artwork around a mausoleum because I felt that, my inner mausoleum, I'm going to say, can I say that? I'm hoping this is in shot. My inner mausoleum needed to come down. And when I did the research on the mausoleum and kind of, found out that, dead things, I'm going to say, are buried in a mausoleum, it kind of took me back to my shadow work of the things that I'm still holding on to and I'm still visiting very often, and possibly things that need to be let go of. And so anyway, so I decided to create some artwork around this. The background was created through like collage work. So I just like ripped all different dark backgrounds from magazines, which I have, and created the background. This and this were all part of one picture. It was I think it was a church in Greece. I coloured the windows in, cut the sections up, and then I drew in my own sections of mausoleum to make the mausoleum taller. Yeah, and I found some, some red and black flowers. This was from another magazine that I found. And I drew the cracks on, and obviously, yeah, and I just really, really liked it. I really, really liked it. And it kind of really spoke to me of this. And it's not so much of, I'm not, obviously, it does represent the Tower card, but it just reminds me of this mausoleum that I'm kind of honouring, which kind of brings me back to another artwork that I did from the Tower at the End of the Rainbow, which appeared in my practice maybe like a year and a half ago or something. Okay, dodgy camera work again, but this is the artwork I was speaking about. Sorry, that's a terrible shot of that artwork. I'm going to put a picture in instead, I think. So this piece of artwork is from the Three of Swords from the Tower at the End of the Rainbow. And it kind of spoke to me of the fact that I'm kind of, not praying, but kind of feeding my energy into this altar of sorrow and sadness and, past events and trauma and things like that, which I felt I kind of had this epiphany that I could be using that energy for growth and development and, building a better foundation and a better future. And so when this turned up and this mausoleum word kept resounding in my mind, it kind of spoke to me of that again, that I still, although I don't have my altar anymore where I kind of feed my energy into, I still feel that there's this mausoleum that is holding all these old experiences and old ghosts almost, which leads me onto the next deck. So the next deck that led me onto some more art witchery was the Halloween Oracle. Feels like a no-brainer, right, for this season. Didn't use it last season, just didn't feel called to it. And then this one, when I started going through my tarot shelves, I was like, oh, yes, I should bring this one forward. There's mine in orange. I've cut my borders off because I didn't like the borders particularly, and I really like it this size. I'm sure you've seen this deck, and I was using it. I can't remember what. I've used so many decks, and I'm going to show you my tarot card and you'll understand why I can't remember the pairing that I used. I can't remember what the pairing was, and I don't want to go through my journal because I'm a lazy Mowgli. But anyway, I was kind of using this deck, and this card popped out to me. And it popped out to me because kind of caught my attention because I was thinking it reminds me of my inner mausoleum, and that word was like really resonating for me. And I've been doing this research into the mausoleum. And doing some, using tarot as a tool around this idea, and this kind of spoke to me of my inner mausoleum and the ghosts that are kind of hiding out or are taking up space in the mausoleum, and the word regret. So I started doing some shadow work around that. And I also created some art witchery around the shadow work that I did about the ghosts that are still haunting my mausoleum that needs to come down. So I decided to, grab some paints out and, throw some paint at the page and, do some art witchery, which I really, really like. I just, with the art that I've been doing recently, or not recently, but like since, I think 2023, I decided that I wanted to do some more artwork, which I hadn't done since I was like 16, 14, 15, 16, something like that. And I just wanted to not focus on the result. I just wanted to enjoy the journey of it and doing it. And it's been, I just really, that's what I tend to do. I tend to approach my artwork now, my art witchery, but I just want to enjoy the journey. And so when I just started slapping some paint on, I was like, this is really fun. I really like this. And I really like the result, actually, to be quite honest. So I did some really potent work around this artwork and around the ghosts that are haunting my mausoleum. Oh my goodness me, apologies for my kitty cat. can't think where I got up to. I think I said all I needed to say about this piece of artwork. This then led me on to my next piece of artwork. Okay, so we've kind of got a bit of a selection of decks going on here. We have got the Oracle of the Witch, Horror Tarot, the Black Velvet Tarot, and the Soul Mirror Oracle. All are mass market decks. These two were put away for birthday and Christmas. I pre-ordered them like earlier on in the year, and they weren't supposed to come out until December, but I just got a bee in my bonnet at the beginning of October that I needed to bring these two out and start using them. And I use these four like in conjunction with each other, like in some kind of combination. This is a deck that I pull out. It's always sitting like where I showed you, right in front of me on my desk, because it's like part of my Facets of Self deck collection. And I tend to use this with the Darkwood Tarot as more of an oracle deck. Anyway, let me show you the backs. These are the backs of these two, in case you haven't seen them. I'm sure you have. And these are the backs of these two, which are gorgeous. Anyway, so let me flip some cards, and maybe I should, do some more speaking, obviously. And yeah, so I purchased this one last year. I think I've used it a bit, not so much, and I've been feeling really drawn to reds and blacks. So these two felt like a bit of a no-brainer. And then, like I mentioned, which is a bit unprecedented in my practice generally, I just was going with what I felt that I wanted to look at or to read with. And so I paired these four together and was doing some, quite in-depth work with them. And these four cards came out in the same reading. So we've got the Devil, we've got the High Priest, and we've got Shadow Work. And I'm going to pop this one here because these two came out together. Unfortunately, the Horror Tarot didn't get a look in on this on this reading, but this really started resonating with me. This this person in the mirror that's holding me back, that's sabotaging me. We've got the Devil, which is for me it speaks of like a saboteur, and keeping me bound, keeping me in my safe comfort zone almost. This is all about authority, and with this figure behind this shadow, again, it really spoke to me of this shadow and this mirror going on, and obviously the tower coming forward again totally reminded me of my mausoleum. So these four decks and this reading kind of inspired this artwork, which I kind of picked up on this with the me looking in the mirror and seeing this devil figure. Now, I have already done some artwork again previously with the Devil card from the Figuratively Speaking Tarot. In that deck, the Devil looks like a puppet, and that gave me the epiphany that I am my own devil. I'm the one that's holding myself bound by these like chains almost. And let me just show you. See if I can get this in view for you. This sits on my self-love Facets of Self altar. This is some artwork I did around the Figuratively Speaking Devil card, this one, and even this one. You can see how organised I am, can't you? I haven't even pulled these forward to show you. Even this one, where I have cut myself free and almost like celebrating that I am free from the chains or ropes that I was holding myself tied to. And the interesting thing is, this year my card of the year is Temperance, and I actually pulled the Cozy Witch Temperance card, which the key phrase on that card is release yourself from self-imposed restrictions. And I was like, oh, yes, I do revisit my Temperance card of the year very often actually, and I have done that throughout this year. And so when I kind of got this message, I was like, oh, yes, release myself from self-imposed restrictions, which kind of tapped into my inner mausoleum and what I've been holding on to, what I've been honouring, what I've been allowing to haunt my inner mausoleum. Does that make sense? I really hope so, because it makes sense in my brain. And then when I say it out loud, I'm like, no. Yeah. And this also kind of sparked my, you remember my little my little bones man. I can't even get him in shot now. Let me see if I can grab him in shot for you. Okay, this little dude here. Do you remember seeing him in my desky shot from the beginning? Yeah, I made him out of like paper chains, which I used to do as a child. And this is an art witchery spell, and it's all about getting to the bones of what is haunting me. So he is hanging here as a reminder. I don't know how long he's going to hang here, and I think at the end of my work with him, he's going to be popped into a cauldron and burnt. But yeah, that doesn't feel like it's going to happen anytime real soon. Yeah, let's get back to the downward shot. So let's speak about some other decks that I've got on my desk right now. That's the Deviant Moon. I know, right? This was a deck I was going to pull out a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago now. And this deck didn't want anything to do with me. It was like, yeah, no, sorry, I've got more important things to do than, deal with your puny human questions, basically. And then a couple of days ago, I was thinking about this whole mausoleum work that I'm doing and the shadow work that I'm working with at the minute. And I wanted a deck that made me feel uncomfortable. And this deck kind of, it's like that nagging ache that you have when you've got like a toothache or something like that. And it's that nagging pain that just won't leave you alone. That's what this deck is for me. I want to use it, but it doesn't want to work with me. And it's like, it's almost too good for me. I'm not worthy enough to use this deck. And so it keeps nagging away at me, and I feel uncomfortable with this deck. And so I wanted, this sounds really bizarre, I know, when I say it out loud it sounds strange, but I wanted some decks that make me feel uncomfortable for the shadow work. I wanted to get uncomfortable. And so this, here we go, the Tower card. And so I pulled this deck out to use, and I do have the big book to go with this, and I've been using this the last couple of days, so I actually moved this deck off of my desk to make this video. And it's been spot on, and it's been really making me get uncomfortable. Not in a good way, but it's things I need to look at, which is, I think, what shadow work's all about, really. So that's one of the decks that are on my desk at the minute. This is another deck that's on my desk right at the minute. This is the Dancing in the Dark Tarot, and this came about when I created my mausoleum artwork. I was sitting on the sofa, just minding my own business, having created the mausoleum artwork. And I was thinking, this deck just popped into my brain, and I suddenly thought of the Dancing in the Dark Tarot. So I pulled it out because I didn't have any plans to work with it in October. Got it out, started looking through it. Haven't used it in a long time. It was back in order. Mine's been modified. I've cut the borders off mine. They used to have like obnoxious brown borders, and I've edged mine in black. And I decided just to shuffle the deck and ask the deck if it could help me with my mausoleum work. And these are the two cards that flew out, which totally reminded me. It's almost like, this deck makes me feel like I'm in the process of my mausoleum falling down. With this black background going on, we've got these two figures obviously falling, and we've got this figure that's like leaping off of, which feels like is the mausoleum, the collapsing mausoleum, to make a new start. And then we've got this wolf energy, which like totally feels like it's like totally relevant, does it not? Look, wolf, woof, woof, or howl, howl, which speaks to me of my facets of self and my inner wolf. And so I was like, yeah, I need to be using this in the mausoleum work. And that's what I've been using this deck for. Which was a total surprise, because I did not expect this one to make any kind of appearance this year. So I'm really glad that it actually has. Yeah, what do we think? Shall we take a look at the catastrophe? Wait, what's that word I'm looking for? Catastrophe is the word I'm looking for, which is my tarot card. Should we do that? Let's. Okay, so this is my tarot card. It has not been tidied. There are no points for tidiness. I'm not into aesthetics. I'm just showing you. This is real life, people, party people. So many decks, they are spilling out onto the floor, and these are being added to every so often. Now it's the top tier basically. There are a couple in the middle section which you've already seen, I've shown you. Let's talk about the top tier. So the Haunted House Tarot, this is a deck that I want to use for my mausoleum practice, which I'm going to go into a little bit more in a wee second after I've shown you the tarot card. This is the Green Witches Oracle. This is a deck that I use for Dawn Michelle's Fellowship of the Weavers practice. This is a specific deck that I use specifically every single month so far, and I really like this deck, really like it. I think all the decks I'm going to show you are mass market. This is a deck that I pulled out when I was rooting for the Black Violet Tarot and even the Soul Mirror Oracle. This was also in my selection of decks for birthday Christmas. I had pre-ordered this earlier on in the year. I'm going to show you these actually. And I just felt for Samhain this was like really relevant. These are the backs. They're edged in silver from the box. And this deck is by the same creator as the Wanderer's Tarot that I use every single day. Sorry, I've got my lights here. Didn't think this through, did I? I didn't. You know, I'm flying by the seat of my pants here, party people. Anyway, so when I saw this deck in the stash, I was like, oh, yes, I need to get this out for Samhain. And I currently have the sigil for Ancestral Aid on my ancestor altar. Anyway, so previous to pulling that card, I had also pulled three times I've pulled the same card, and it was this one. Sigil for Eros, I think the name is. What's so strange about that, you might think? Well, I didn't think it was strange either, and I didn't know who Eros was, or Eros is a Greek god. I did some research on them because after pulling that card 3 different occasions, not on the same day, just like, you know, 3 occasions when I've used this deck, I pulled the Eros card, and then I ordered from Vinted a second-hand Rainbow High doll from Poland. I know, it's all very bizarre. Bear with me, there is a point to the story. And when I received that doll and that box, there was a little box in that parcel holding some accessories to the doll. And can you guess what the box was? Well, you don't need to because I'm going to show you. Yes, this was the box that was holding the doll accessories. Versace's Eros. Is that not weird? Is that not a coincidence? Now, I've done a little bit of research on this. And I'm also going to say that when I kind of Googled Eros, the image that I got up totally reminded me of this statue, which I've got on my altar. Is that not bizarre? So I haven't done so much research, although I really should, because obviously there's clearly something going on and I'm being called to, I feel, or there's like some kind of synchronicity going on. But I just feel like with the mausoleum work going on, I'm also working with my Wonderland down the rabbit hole practice, and the art witchery that's going on as well. I don't know. I'm all, you know, I'm all fingers and toes and buttons and nose and I don't know what I'm talking about. But you know, I'm kind of a bit stretched, and time is not my friend at the minute because I've got so much, you know, I want to do. I want to do it all. I want to learn it all. I want to know it all. Yeah. Anyway, back to the card. So other decks that I want to use for this season. The Sacred Hag's Oracle, that's a deck that's calling to me. I've also got the Gospel of Aradia, which is sitting here, which I use for my Fellowship of the Weavers practice. This is always sitting in my tarot card nowadays, the Divine Animals Oracle. This is another deck that I wanted to use for portal work. I've got some more art witchery to show you. Should I be showing you now or later? Oh, I'm going to say that one for later. Holy moly, this is going to be a long video. I've been using this one, Whispering Woods, as like just a short card pull. This is my Magic of You Oracle, which is in this bag. I've been pulling this one out as well, which I've been really enjoying. Oopsie, bashed the camera. Apologies. Divine Muses Oracle. I felt I need to pull this one out. I've been using this with my Night Wait Tarot. This is a deck that I've been using for my portal work or my rabbit hole work down the rabbit hole into Wonderland. Then I have the Zombie Tarot, which is in this little bag here. Cozy Witch Tarot, felt like a no-brainer for this season. I haven't used it so much. I've been using it more like an affirmation at the end of a reading. I pulled out the Halloween Tarot because I'd like to use it, but I don't know if I'm going to get to it. This is a bootleg copy, which was a present a couple of years ago. I'm not going to talk about that deck. And this is Angie Sullen's Divine Nature Oracle, which I've pulled out a couple of times as well. Oh, hopefully I'm in shot. This one is BoDleasons Tarot, actually. I pulled this one back out again. Beautiful backs, love the backs. I don't know, it gave me a bit of an autumnal vibe, and the images kind of felt like I needed to work with them, and the deck also, I felt like the deck had a message for me, but I don't know because I haven't gotten to it yet. I've been working with the other decks as well as the ones on the floor. So in the second and the third tier of my tarot card, those are decks that are always somehow or another within my practice I'm working with. So for instance, they might be, animal ally decks and things like that, or possibly astrology decks I'm working with. So I'm not going to go through those. What I will go through, oh hello, there's my foot. Let's pick up a couple of these that are on the floor to show you. So we've got the Woman Tarot, which I've already shown you, which I'm going to go into that one. Then we have Between the Worlds. I pulled this one out to work with ancestral work. I even worked with this recently with the Deviant Moon Tarot, actually. I did a spread with the Deviant Moon Tarot. That was really, really good. Oracle of Pluto. I pulled this out yesterday because we're going into Scorpio season, and Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. So don't know if it's going to be used. It's a bit colourful. I'm not feeling the colour. I can't believe I just said that, but it's true. I'm not feeling the colourful decks. Then we've got a selection here. Oh goodness me, I've got so many decks on the go. Season of the Witch Samhain. I'm sure you've seen this one. I pulled the Mary Magdalene Oracle out because I felt I needed something that was a bit softer, or a little bit gentler, should I say. So I pulled this one out. I used this maybe like 2 weeks ago. I can't remember what I used it with. Cannot remember. My mind is a complete blank. If I can go back through my journal, I will write the pairing on the screen. But whatever the decks I was using, or the readings that I was using this deck for, I felt I needed a balance. The reading I was getting was quite harsh, and I felt I needed something to kind of soften the edges of the messages that were coming through. So yes, that's that one. Those were the decks in that little wooden box. What else have we got? Let's see. Let's pan back up there and let's grab these. This is one I used a couple of days ago, which is Through History, Grimoire and Oracle deck. The book is beautiful, amazing illustration style. I've got no room to show you these things. Goodness me, I never thought this through, did I? And there's 25 cards to go with this. Let's see if I can show you some of the beautiful illustrations. So it's gorgeous, and the cards are very similar. But I felt it just really suited the time of year, basically. I really want to read this book. If I'm going to get to it, I don't know. I can't answer that question. So that's another one. Talking about my bones, my getting to the bones of the matter, and my little skeleton that I made and the art witchery spell going on there. The Modern Tarot Reader, this is the mass market tarot, what's it called? Anatomy Tarot. I pulled that out, I haven't used it yet, but I feel that's quite relevant with bones, with my little skeleton and getting to the bones of the matter. And I even pulled out this one, which I haven't used yet, but I saw it on Man's channel yesterday. They put out a video, excuse me. And when I was watching their video, I was like, oh, I've got one out. I know I quite fancy using it, but I don't know if I'm going to get to it. So yes, oh, and also we've got this one as well, the Numinous Tarot. I used this earlier on in the year. This was a second-hand find. Comes in this bag. And I really want to use this with a deck, which I now realise is under here, which I never showed you. The Illuminate... wait, is it called the Illuminating Earth Oracle? And I've even pulled out the... Oh, what's that deck? I always confuse those names of that deck, or those decks. In any case, they are decks that I tend to use for other practices, mainly with my Wild Unknown Tarot, for my connecting with tree energy, and even my poetry practice, which I use the other oracle for to work with the Lorenzi Tarot, I think it's called. Anyway, I just felt that they would pair with this one really nicely. But again, I haven't had the chance because I've got so many decks going on. And now I've got a total mess everywhere. Let's talk about the Glimpse Tarot and the artwork and the Haunted House Tarot deck. And let's reflect back over on my mausoleum.